Hey, what's up, y'all? Dr. Maisha here. You know who I am. So if you're watching me live, go ahead. Let's say hi. Let me know you're hi. Let me know you're here. If you're watching me on replay, hashtag replay. We're gonna talk about failure today. All right. So failure is such a trigger word. It's such a word. We make up so many things about failure, don't we? We make up all of these various things about what failure means. Well, I want to tell you a little story. You see, once upon a time, oh, back in 2004, so 16, I guess, or so years ago, when I was fresh out of residency, I actually started my first practice. Now, a lot of people who follow me, a lot of people who know that I had an integrative medicine practice for 10 years before I transitioned into coaching physicians and medical professionals in business and entrepreneurship, before I transitioned and did a lot of the work that I do with mindset. But a lot of people do not know that before I started that practice, I had a first practice. And let me tell you, coming straight out of residency, bright eyed, bushy tailed, and 100% naive, I jumped headfirst. No business experience, no marketing experience. I just said, hello, I'm going to start a practice. Well, let me tell you, 3 months into that practice, I wasn't seeing enough patients. And 3 months into that practice, I had to move out of my space. And within 6 months, I had to make a decision to close my practice. Now, a lot of people don't know that, right? And a lot of people, if that had happened to them, might have taken that as a huge blow, right? But let me show you a little something, all right? So, a lot of you might be wondering by now, why in the world does she have this pitcher of water and this glass? Well, let me show you how we mostly like deal with failure, okay? So I'm gonna pour this water into this glass, all right? So here we go. Oh, uh-oh, looks like I missed, right? Well, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again. Let me try this one more time, okay? Ooh, that didn't go so well, did it? Right? So now, most of you out there probably didn't say, oh my God, she's so incompetent. She's such a failure. Oh, she couldn't even pour a glass of water, right? Like that's, I mean, if you're out there saying that, then bless you. But I bet that's not what you're saying. You're probably saying, oh, that she's making a big old mess. And yes, I will have to go clean up some water after this. But there's this thing about missing the mark. And a lot of times when we think of failure, it's such a trigger word. We make it mean so much about us. There's a lot of emotion connected to failure. There's a lot of anger. There's like guilt. There's fear. There's sadness, connected to this thing we call failure. Right. And even especially like high performing professionals like doctors and lawyers and executives, corporate executives, people who are used to being on top, we maybe don't experience failure that often. So it's ingrained in us that failure is not an option. Have you ever heard that one before? And so then we then do everything in our power to avoid the experience because we've been taught a particular thing about failure. And then let's just take it even for like in my profession, the unconscious messages that come about failure in my profession. In my profession as a physician, failure can actually mean death. If you fail to give the person the right dose of the prescription, if you fail to make the right diagnosis, if you fail to do something critical in a surgery, if you fail to do something, it could mean someone's life. But oftentimes out in the world in our normal lives, and especially in entrepreneurship, like when you're starting a business, failure doesn't mean that. All of the drama and the meaning that we bring to failure, we bring to failure. We do that, right? Now, of course, there's the unconscious external messages that we get from our training, our parents, society, right? There's all of these different unconscious messages, but we can begin to look at failure differently. Then it will transform the things that we go after and the way that we go after them, right? So instead of when I do this, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I quit. I'm never going to get a glass of water. I'm never going to drink water again. Oh my God. Oh, this is just so horrible. Oh my God. I could actually do this. Well, maybe I could, maybe I could adjust. Oh, I still missed it. Oh, look at that. A glass of water. Hmm, delicious, right? Filter. And so when you look at failure differently, when you look at failure is just a process by which you gather information so that you can tweak and adjust, right, until you make the mark. You gather the information that you need to be able to reach the goal, achieve the goal. You're really looking at failure as feedback rather than as something that it means about your ability or your capacity or your intelligence. What you're looking at failure as information. And so, I told you I failed. I had to close my practice. My first practice was a failure. And for me, it wasn't my first failure. So I didn't really have this context for I was a bad person, or I was a bad business person, or I would never be able to have a successful practice, or or entrepreneurship is just not for me. Like I never had that because I had a couple of failures earlier in my life. Right? A lot of people don't know this about me, but I failed Bio 101. I failed Biology 101. Can you believe it? And I'm a doctor. But then I graduated top of my class out of medical school, right? So someone close to me used to say, a mess up is a setup, or for a comeback, right? So you want to look at failure as a setup for a comeback, right? And so what I want you to do as I love to give you homework, right? And I want you to type in the chat box if you're feeling me, if you're following me, if this is making sense to you. I want you to type in the chat box, this makes sense. Makes sense. I'm with you, right? Type in the chat box. I want you, as you go out into your day, I want you to go and look in your life all of the times that you missed the mark, the little ones, the ones that you think were big ones, and take the learnings from those. What did you learn? What feedback can you gather from that? You know? And then the other things is I want you to look at all of the things that you never tried that you've always wanted to try because you were afraid to fail. How many of those things do you still want to do? Put them on your list. When will you get started? Right? Because when we stop looking at failure as it means something about us and start looking at failure as information to get to where we want to get to, then we actually have an open road of possibilities before us. Got that? So type yes in the chat box if you got it. Type I'm with you. Type makes sense in the chat box if it makes sense. And so I want you to go out and I want you to check in on your life. What are you afraid to do? Where are you held back because of fear of failure? Where are all the failures that you have that you've learned from and done better? Where are the failures where you've made it mean something about yourself? And can you now take the learnings and recontextualize that and bring it forward and know that you can do something different or try that again if that's always been on the back of your mind and you've wanted to try it again? Okay, so I want you to do that. And of course, these are some of the things we talk about in the world of NLP. This is shifting context, shifting belief patterns. These are some of the things that we do in the world of NLP or neurolinguistic programming, is taking a belief system and shattering that old negative thought or old negative belief that could be getting in the way of you getting what you want, right? And so if you are interested in delving a little bit more deeply into that, you can register for Remapping Your Mind for Success, which is a free training that I have on my website. You all know, drmyisha.com. You can register right on the front page. And if you feel like you are being held back, or you're stuck in negative emotions like anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt, can't get past it on your own, and or negative thought processes, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, feel like you can't get past it on your own, or anything else that you feel like you're stuck in quicksand and can't get past it on your own, you want a little one-on-work, I encourage you and invite you to schedule a free mind remapping reset call with me. And you can do that by going to the same website, drmaish.com. There's a button, you can schedule it right from the home page. Okay, so I hope that you learned something about failure today. I hope that if you already knew this, it reinforced it in a deeper way for you. And go ahead and tell me what your questions are. Tell me how you are recontextualizing failure in your life, and share this with someone who you think it would be very valuable. And I am going to now go clean up this mess off my floor. All right, y'all. Good to see you. Looking forward to the next one. Bye.